is April 3rd. Welcome on into Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com, presented by Royal Banks of Missouri and Munganess St. Louis Acura. I am Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey. Rammer, Cardinals are 2-1 on the season, and they welcome in the Atlanta Braves for a 3-game series. It's fun baseball to start the season when you have two teams like the Blue Jays and the Braves coming into town. Hopefully, Busch Stadium is packed once again today.
I'm sure it will be early start because kids are still in school. I think it's going to work great. And action over the weekend all over baseball, but in particular at Busch Stadium was fun, exciting, thrilling, fast-paced. It was all good. Yeah, you wish you pitched a little bit better, but I wouldn't call things we're so far away from even thinking about panic mode yet. I think there was despite the raw numbers for the pitchers, I thought there was more good than bad for me.
Yeah, and the Jack Flaherty is kind of an enigma. If when you look at 7 walks, 7 walks, hit by punts, I that's one of those where you look at it and you go, okay, is that good? Is that like, am I worried about that? Like, you don't know what the hell to think with that. So
they're not hitting the ball off of him. That's good.
Yeah.
So can you dial in your command without being hittable? And that'll be the thing to watch in his next start.
Yeah. So the Cardinals today, it is against the Braves. Jake Woodford gets his first start of the season, a spot in the rotation that he more than earned during spring training, and is now your number 4 starter on the team against Charlie Morton, a guy that has just been around forever. I don't have an age. I mean, I'm bringing it up right now. He's 39 years old. I was going to say, if he was younger than me, I would have been shocked. So 39 years old. And I'm a little bit surprised at the lack of numbers by some of the Cardinals. I guess it just shows how young maybe this team is. 21 at-bats for Paul Goldschmidt, 19 for Nolan Arenado during their careers against Charlie Morton.
Yeah, he's a guy, though, that'll give a team fits, mixing up his pitches like he does. He's one of those guys that like I said, will drive a team, a group crazy. They showed some real good patience over the weekend and some at-bats, being able to hang back on change-ups by and large. So we'll see if that carries over tonight.
Let's talk a little bit about from what we saw this weekend out of the Cardinals and all of baseball before we get in to the lineups for tonight's game. The Cardinals 2-1. We saw them lose big, or we saw them lose in a high-scoring game, 10-9, on Thursday before coming back in a very quick game on Saturday and an early offensive explosion in the game on Sunday with 2 home runs by Nolan Gorman. The Cardinals leave the first weekend of the season number 1 in batting average, .373 batting average as a team. I said this to Claibs earlier today. I am shocked that they're number 1 in baseball just because of the numbers the Rangers put up against the Phillies this weekend. I'm surprised the Rangers team average isn't over 500 after what they did to the Phillies,
which is something that's really crazy. You don't expect that from them. What I'm seeing around the league is lineups that are really dangerous 1 through 4, and then a huge drop off that includes the Rangers, certainly with name recognition anyway. And that's why I'm starting to buy into the national narrative that 1 through 9, the Cardinals may be as deep or deeper than anyone. Again, 1 through 9. So go 5 through 9 and start comparing them to the 5 through 9s around baseball, and you start to go, oh, yeah, I see what we're talking about.
I'm glad you mentioned that because the commish, Rick Hummel, just posted an article on ClaibsOnline.com right there on the front page in our featured content section. It's all about the Cardinal lineup and how deep they are this year, looking at that lineup all the way from 1 through 9 with quotes from Ali Marmol. So, and if you have time, go check that out right there, ClaibsOnline.com, right in the featured content section, or click on the link for articles and you can see all of that right there. So the Cardinals number 1 in batting average following this weekend, but the biggest stat, and I think the one Rammer that'll make people like you and me very happy, they are last in the league in striking out. They only struck out 19 times this past weekend. That is the fewest in all of baseball through 3 games.
That's a good sign. I think their hitter strikeout walk ratio is minus 2-1. And if you can keep it at that rate or even get a little closer to even, you're in really good shape relative to the rest of baseball. I think it's like 2-1 or pretty close. And so you don't want to get that too lopsided. And I think they're on the right track with their approach.
The around baseball, here's some numbers. Jeff Passan tweeted these out earlier today. 50 games over the weekend from Thursday through Sunday, 50 games played in baseball through 4 days. Last year, through the first 4 days of the season, 49 games were played. So let's do a little compare and contrast to some of the things that we see through these first games. Time of game, let's start there. Last year, through the first 50 games of the season, the average time of game was 3 hours and 9 minutes. Rammer, after 50 games this year, the average time of game, 2 hours and 38 minutes.
Yeah, that takes into account an action-packed game like the Cardinals played on Thursday that went long, but you didn't know it because it was constant action. Mm-hmm. And that's really what baseball was going for.
Batting averages up 15 points through 50 games from 230 to 245. Almost all of those have come from singles, which shows you the role the shift was playing in some of this. So offense,
maybe I'd like to see some defensive charts that might be part of it, but I think approach could have something to do with it too. It'll be interesting to see some of the analytics as they come out with some more data.
Rammer, there were 40 pitch clock violations this first weekend. I don't recall. I was at the Cardinal game Thursday and Sunday. I don't recall seeing a pitch clock violation in any of those. And I've watched a lot of baseball this weekend, but 40 through 50 games, that's a lot when you account that there's 250 pitches thrown a game and only 40 times was there a pitch clock violation.
Less than one per game is good.
Yeah. Here's the big one, Rammer. Through 50 games last year, there were 29 stolen bases through 50 games last year. That was out of 43 attempts for a percentage of 67%. Through games this year, 70 stolen bases, 84 attempts.
Wow, that's huge.
Double on the attempts. In an 83% success rate. I will tell you this.
That's impressive.
From a fan standpoint, being there at Busch Stadium, when the pitcher threw over to first base to check on the runner, you kind of moved up in your seat a little bit. You kind of like, okay, something's about to happen. Like you got interested in the game and you start, okay, is he going to go now? He can go now. Like they can't do it. And it was exciting. It became really exciting because you're like, okay, he could throw over a second time, but that's it. Is the runner going to get a bigger lead? Are they going to try? Is something going to be on here? You just felt it around. And you had fans telling other people, like, hey, he can't, he can only do that twice. That's one. Like teaching people the rules and getting other people, oh, okay, so he might steal. Like, just to have that aura kind of around the baseball stadium was pretty cool to see, and it's something that if you're going to games, maybe you'll experience it as well. So very, very cool to see that happen.
The running game, of course, stolen bases up is fantastic, and first to third and second to home, the Cardinals have been very good at that, and I've seen other teams picking that up as well. Again, people want action, and if you get action, you're going to be happy. You get pace, you're going to be happy, and you're going to come back to the ballpark.
Rammer, let's take a look at our lineups for tonight's game. A 6:45 start time down at Busch Stadium. 72 degrees at first pitch tonight. Sunny skies today and tomorrow is going to be absolutely beautiful baseball weather here in the first few days of April. The Atlanta Braves come in with Charlie Morton on the mound. Ronald Acuna Jr. is in right field leading off. Matt Olson at first base. Austin Riley at third. Travis d'Arnaud is behind the plate. Michael Harris II is in center field. Ozzie Albies is at second. Marcelo Zuna is DHing. Eddie Rosario is in left. And Orlando Arcia is at short. For the Cardinals, Brendan Donovan leads off and plays second. Alec Burleson is in left. Paul Goldschmidt at first. Nolan Arenado at third. Wilson Contreras is behind the plate. Nolan Gorman bats sixth and DHs. Tyler O'Neill batting seventh in center field. Jordan Walker in right. And Tommy Edman is your shortstop for the Cardinals tonight. I read that lineup down. And watching them this weekend, it has been so much fun through 3 games to watch those guys hit and swing the bats.
Yeah, very good. And, Newt Barr will be able to work on his thumb to get it back in shape. You had really terrific at-bats and results from Dylan Carlson. So Ollie's got a lot to work with here in the early going.
He does, and Alec Burleson with a home run yesterday. 2 home runs in the first 3 pitches for the Cardinals yesterday in that game.
We'll see some of the young guys. Can they stay back on Morton's deliveries? They did a pretty good job on Sunday. And that's the hard part for any hitter, but in particular inexperienced hitters. So that'll be the challenge to watch tonight.
So the Cardinals and Braves, it's a 6:45 first pitch today down at Busch Stadium. Should be the fun first night game of the season down in downtown St. Louis on a beautiful, beautiful night for baseball. Hope you all enjoy the game tonight, and we will be back tomorrow before first pitch for another edition of Daily Cards Live. Brought to you each and every day by Munganast St. Louis Acura and Rammer, Royal Banks, Missouri.
Royal Banks of Missouri for over 60 years now in the metro area and expanding in recent years to the east side in Granite and Jacksonville, to St. Charles County, into 3 locations in northeast Missouri, and each branch feels like your hometown bank. Royal Banks, where better service means better banking.
He's Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. We will talk to you tomorrow right here on Daily Cards Live, only on ClaibsOnline.com.
As one of St. Louis's fastest growing companies and largest private companies, St. Louis Acura is proud to serve you and remains committed to becoming better than ever for you. As new Acuras become more available every day, we are not backing down from selling 100% more quality pre-owned vehicles than ever before. We want customers that appreciate our friendly, outgoing team and our award-winning service, because at St. Louis Acura, we are better than ever for you.